Hello there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to the Not Too Shabby YouTube channel. Today I'm playing with the Mermaids and Friends kit using two of the fabulous stamp sets from this month's box. And they are the Be Mermazing and Hugs and Fishes stamp sets. And I'm going to be playing with some hair gel. Three different ways. So let's take a close-up look at these stamp sets. This is the Be Mermazing set. It has the beautiful mermaid in it, a couple fishes, some seashells, some coral, and sentiments. This one, Hugs and Fishes, has the seahorses and that narwhal that I think is so cute. So here are all the images I am stamping out with some Copic-friendly black ink, and then I will set to coloring them out. I love that these sets mix and match so well together. You can see here that I'm sticking with like purple, turquoise, and pink colors today, going for just a real fun, summery, and I think perfect mermaid color. So I'm going to show you how I color out some of these images because I kind of did a fade from pink, purple to turquoise where they kind of look like the turquoise and the pink blended in the middle. So for the mermaid, I'm not doing any of that blending, but I thought you would like to see how I colored her out. I gave her some turquoise hair because I love mermaids with colored hair. So I did that. You could color her however you like. So here's what I'm talking about, how I faded the three colors together. So I have three really light colors, and then I'll bring in some mid-tones, but in the middle, I am using V20 as the color where the two meet, and it works really good. So you'll see it here again on the fish. I'll show it to you a couple times because I really love how it turned out and gave some of the images all three of the colors. So you can see on the screen the markers that I'm using, and if it's going by kind of fast, you will see them after I am done coloring. I'll have them all sitting there so you can check them out. So for my pink there, I did my lightest color, then I bring in my darkest and blend it out with my mid-tone, and then blend that again with my lightest color. And there you can see I'm adding in the V22. I think some of the time I use V20 and sometimes I use V22. So here I am coloring my jellyfish because it's so pretty. I love this image. And there I went and did an ombre effect using three different shades of V markers, and I love how that turned out. I think this is just a gorgeous image and like so cool to have this as an accent to go with a lot of the other images. And then the cutest stamp in these sets is this narwhal. We're kind of fans of them in our house because, you know, it has a horn. So I'm going to color that out so that most of it is purple, but kind of fades into the pink. So you'll see me bring that in just a second. And I just like the look of the colors like fading into each other on these colored images. Like, oh, I love how they turned out. So here I am adding some pink to the top, and then I'll kind of just go back and forth between my lightest pink, which is RV21, and my lightest purple to really soften out that blend. So there's no harsh line, and it looks really cute. I did add a little bit more pink right here in some of the purple areas to give it more of a faded, blended look. Now the seahorses I think are just awesome. They're like rock star seahorses. They're so cool. Their manes, is that a mane? The fins on the back of their head are so wispy looking. I love it. So here I'm coloring one side with the turquoise colors, one side with the pink, and then where they meet is going to blend in with that V20, and I love the look of this. So I did both seahorses the same way, and I love that there's a reverse image so you have two of them. I love that. All right, for the finishing touch and for all images that I color that are like under the sea, I really love to add white gel pen, and I add a lot of dots, a lot of dash with a dot, because it really gives them the look of like bubbles on it and being underwater. So there are all my colored images, and I used my Pick Scan Matte and my Cameo Silhouette to cut those out. Next, I am bringing in some cellophane bags for making my gel pouches. So you want to use a cellophane bag that's similar to like a clear envelope. You don't want anything that has a seam in the back, and you don't want anything that looks like a baggie that's a little cloudy. And then I need some clear hair gel. You can find this anywhere, at a drugstore, at the dollar store, and a little bit goes a long way. So I'm now going to work on making the backgrounds for my cards, and that the gel is going to go behind the little gel packs. It kind of makes things look like they're underwater. So I have this polka dot wall stencil, I believe from Spellbinders, and I am using some coral berry ink. I had to use this one because it's called Coral. Yeah, coral berry ink, and I'm using a really small blending brush so that I can put ink on just the bottom half of the circle. On the top half, I'm using another small blending brush and turquoise ink so I can have my circles be two-toned, and even where they overlap, they would blend to create purple. And when they overlapped and made purple, it was kind of a grayish purple, which is what gave me the idea on how to color out my images, because I did test this on a scratch piece of paper, because the paper I'm using is actually a really light blue cardstock. It's not white. So I wanted to see how it would blend on there, and I really like the soft look of these circles. So I went over that twice. I went back again with the pink and back again with the turquoise, and it is really super cool how they turned out. Next, I'm bringing in I believe it's a Starlight gel pen. It is like shimmer, and adding some lines of highlights to these circles, and I'll hold it up and turn it in the light so you can kind of see them. And I love that when you turn this card, you get that bit of shimmer from it. All right, so we're going to set that aside because I am making 3 cards. For the second card, I'm using the heart wall stencil, doing the exact same technique as I did with the circles, but hearts this time, and even use that Starlight gel pen to finish them off. So there's background number 2. For background number 3, I'm using this, I believe it's Splashes stencil. I'm going to have all the things linked for you below, and I'm using the same exact colors of ink on the same paper, but not really working in the same way I did before. I'm randomly adding the pink ink, and then I'm going to go back in and around that with that turquoise. So I'll blend those together in some areas to create that grayish purple look, and then I'll have turquoise and pink in there, and it turns out really super cool. So I love stenciling for kind of a soft ethereal look, and I thought it would work really good with these under the sea themed cards. So once we have the backgrounds done, oh, one thing I'm going to do to this background to add shimmer is splatter it. So I have this sparkle silk, which I use all the time, and I'm going to splatter that over the top and give it a bit of shine, just like I used that Starlight gel pen on the other ones. So that will dry back a little bit and just have the shimmer showing. Okay, so now those are dry and ready to go. I'm going to create card number 1. So I cut an opening in this with a circle die, and then I'm going to take that same circle die and one that's a little bit bigger, cut them out at the same time with turquoise cardstock, and that's going to give me a frame to go around my circle opening. So I'm just taping those together on 2 sides so it doesn't move, and then I have the perfect ring. I'm just going to glue that down around that opening, and it's ready to go. Like that. All right, so I have my cellophane bag here and my clear hair gel. I'm going to open up the bag and squeeze in about a tablespoon. And then I'm going to spread that out. You kind of just want to play with this and start with a little bit and then add a little bit more. You'll see on my second card what it's like if you have too much. So you can always add a little bit more. And I did add probably twice the amount, or doubled it. So I added about another tablespoon here. I just want to make sure that it's laying pretty flat, and I want to try to get out any air bubbles. So then when that's done, I'm going to fold the bag over and tape it down. And I want to really tape it, you know, so no hair gel will ever escape. So I have some Scotch tape here, and I'm just making sure that seam is really well taped. on the bottom edge and the sides. So then it's going to not create a mess on my card. Now, I do recommend that these cards would be hand delivered and not sent in the mail because it has something liquid in it, and the post office doesn't like that. So there you go. Now I added some double stick tape to the back of my window, and I'm pressing on that cellophane bag with that very thin layer of hair gel, and it has all those cool bubbles in it. It's completely see-through, and it's going to create such a cool interactive element to my card. It's like a shaker card, but you get to squish it with your fingers. All right, so now I have a window sheet here that I pressed my turquoise ink onto. I'm going to spray that with water, and then on a white sheet, I'm going to just dab that on there, and I really feel like this looks like you're looking down on water. I'm going to glue my two seahorses so they're facing each other. Well, yeah, they face each other. So I'm going to put them in the middle like that with their noses together. And then that's going to be what you see through the window of this card. So I got them up a little bit high, so I just trimmed a little bit off the bottom there. I'm adding double stick tape to all sides of this, the back of the cellophane bag, and then a little bit on the background as well, and stuck those two together. Now at the end of the bag, I have a little bit of space there, but it needed a little bit of lift, but not enough lift to put foam squares there. So I added 3 layers of really thin, lightweight cardstock, and that gave me the lift I needed there at the bottom. And then I'm adhering this to a 5.5 by 8.5 note card that's scored at 4 1/4, and then I'm going to banner cut my sentiment that says hugs and fishes. So then I can add that right to this card, and we'll have a little sentiment. Now you can see in my little dish up there, I have all the extra pieces, the fish and the coral and the shells. I'm going to add those on in a bit. Once I get all 3 of the cards done. So I'm bringing in the help of my T-square ruler to make sure I got that saying on straight there at the bottom of the circle. But that is the first card mostly done. Like I said, I'll embellish it later. Let's move on to the second card. I have this die set that die cuts a pool. This is from Spellbinders, and it is such a fun die set. I thought it would be really cool to have the mermaid in a pool. Plus, you can die cut the 2 dies together and create a frame like the edge of the pool. It does have some little embossed lines in that frame, so it's just a really cool die. Next, I'm doing some more ink smooshing with my turquoise ink for the background on this card, and I'll do that for all 3 of my cards today. I just like that look. And when I'm making multiple cards, I kind of like to repeat elements. It takes the guesswork out of making multiple cards, gives them the look of being a complete set, and it just goes faster. So I'm adding the mermaid into the pool there that I just stuck it down with temporary adhesive so I didn't have to guess where it was supposed to go. So add your piece that goes in the window before you add your bag. So here I added my hair gel, and then I'm going to bring in some dye-based ink. This is, you could use a re-inker for your stamp pad, and I'm going to put a few drops of ink in with my hair gel. So this is the second way you can use hair gel, and that's going to tint it, but it doesn't immediately color all of the gel. So when you squish this around, it actually will move. It won't mix in. It will mix in some, but it's just really cool. You have to give it a try. But just a note, if you're going to put yellow in, that's a whole different kind of card. Yeah, you're going to have to put a little kid in your pool and not a mermaid, okay? All right, so I thought this ink in the pool, it kind of is like maybe a magical power that the mermaid has to kind of hide because she doesn't want to be seen, right? Mermaids don't like to be seen. They like to remain mysterious. So she can spray ink in the water so she can stay hidden. That's her magical power. Yeah. All right, so I'm attaching this one with foam squares to my card panel, giving a little depth there, and you can see squish that around and the color moves. Now this one I got just a tiny bit too much of the gel and an air bubble in there as well. So it's kind of bumpy on the front, just a little bit of a bump where my other cards do not have that. So you just kind of want to be careful not to get too much hair gel in there. You really only need a little bit, and then it will lay more flat. And just make sure you squish out all the air bubbles. All right, so I stamped and cut out my sentiment that says, "You are mermazing." And I loved this one that was curved, and that's why I wanted the mermaid in the pool, so I could put "You are mermazing" right at the top there. So I'm going to set that one aside and work on card number 3. Now I have this Honeybee Stamps seashell shaped card die set. That's hard to say, really hard. And I'm die cutting the window from my stenciled panel, and then I'm going to use the piece that cuts this seashell. I'm going to cut that out first, and then there's a die that cuts a shell shaped card. I'm going to line that up with the bottom of my paper and die cut that to give me my frame. I only need, the top half. So there I have a frame, and it's perfect for this opening on this card. So there we have it, glued into place with the turquoise paper. I will do some more ink smooshing for this background, and I thought it's just fun to do. I did try one with the pink and the turquoise. I didn't like it as much, so I left the color changing element on the outside of the card and not on the inside. So now I'm adding my narwhal there in the center of the shell, just gluing them all in place, not popping anything up because they're going to be covered with the hair gel. All right, technique number 3 with hair gel: add half your hair gel and then add a little tiny scoop, about 1/8 of a teaspoon of fine glitter. I said glitter. It's amazing. This is my favorite. So I'm going to kind of mix that in together. You really don't need very much glitter at all. So 1/8 of a teaspoon, a pinch. If you have I have a really big window, so I can do a little bit more. But if you have a smaller window, you're going to want less glitter in there. So also, I did put half the gel, then the glitter, then more gel. I wish I would have done that with my ink refill drops. That would have made it a lot easier. So just a tip there. And now for this one, I am folding that cellophane bag around to the back, which by the way is actually a clear envelope. The clear envelopes work really good for this technique, adding the hair gel. So I'm going to tape that down on the back side, and I did attach the bag right to the panel with the narwhal on it, and then I can add the adhesive around the outside of the bag and attach it to the back of the card. So either way, it's going to work fine whether you put the adhesive on the back of the card front or right on the cellophane bag, either way. And then I added glue around the shell because it's such a big card. The edge of the bag and the seashell have a bit of distance between them, and I wanted to make sure there was no gaps where the seashell was popping up. So I added glue there, and then my double stick tape was showing a little bit, and so I was able to scoot it over with my thumbnail and tuck it under the die. That worked out really well. I added some more double stick tape and a little bit of glue to adhere the panel to my card base. This card is actually 5 by 5 so that I could fit that seashell on there. And now I stamped "See You Soon," and I'm cutting that out to put on my card. So this one, I'm going to glue this right down to that cellophane bag, which a little controversial, but I'm not mailing these cards, remember, because they have liquid in them. So I feel okay about it staying there for the long haul. Right now, as I'm telling you this, I'm trying to scoot it with my fingernail after it's dried for a few hours, and it's not moving. So I think it's okay. I think it's all right to glue stuff down if you have good glue to your cellophane bag there. All right, so now I've laid out all my pieces, figured out where I wanted them to go, and then I'm gluing them into place. And this is what makes the card. All of these special additional stamped images are so beautiful. I love them. I even had extra to add to the insides of the cards. And there are all 3 of my hair gel interactive cards featuring the Mermaid and Friends box of the month from Not Too Shabby. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and maybe you'll go grab some hair gel and give this a try. If you have any comments or questions, I would love to hear from you. Leave them in the comments below, and I will see you again soon on the next video. Happy stamping! Bye!